All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you go. I'm going to jump right into this Zimmerman thing, and you guys should call. I know there's been a lot of pent-up anger and frustration. Well, you can call on these two numbers here, and Deshaun will put you on the air. Deshaun, our producer. Lorraine, did you have any comments on the Zimmerman verdict?
Well, yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot, and first of all, Mr. Zimmerman is not white. He's Hispanic. So if you call him a white Hispanic, you would have to call President Obama a white black man. And also, my feelings about the verdict are that even though he was found not guilty, what he did was not right. It was not totally correct. And I don't feel good about it. And I don't feel it was right of him to do.
Yeah,
So I'm very torn and confused, and it's not very good feeling.
Yeah. I'm going to read some of the, in the newspapers on the online, they put these articles, and then underneath people make comments. And I just took a snapshot of 2 pages. I won't say what newspaper it was, what article. But I'm going to read a couple of them, and then I'm going to make a point which I don't think anyone's made yet. Don't forget, ladies, you can call. I know you want to call. So if you want to call 212-757-1536 or 212-757-2515. Okay, what did you learn from the Zimmerman verdict? So here's some of the comments at the end of some of these articles about the Zimmerman verdict when the journalist goes through and describes the trial, etc. So comment number 1, what does the person high on marijuana do? Get munchies and act stupid. Skittles and sugar drink. Perfect. Omitted from evidence was high levels of marijuana. The next comment, lock and load. This ain't over yet, which is sort of a very violent thing. Then there was this comment, purportedly New York Giants wide receiver Victor Cruz tweeted, thoroughly confused. Zimmerman doesn't last a year before the hood catches up to him. It's a horrible thing to say. He later apologized for that. Then there's another comment. The black community once again shows their ignorance and racism. They believe they are a protected class now and can do whatever they want whenever they want. A lot of these racist feelings coming out here, ladies and gentlemen. Another one. I watched the trial. The only thing the jury was to decide was if Zimmerman deliberately set out to kill Trayvon Martin. Stop with the racial aspect. Think of it as 2 men. Trayvon Martin was not a child, etc., etc., etc. Here's another one. This is all from the same newspaper, and I didn't selectively clip these clips, these comments. These are I just cut and paste the top 3 pages. This proves that blacks are racist. They violate the law and believe they should have separate special treatment and immunity from being prosecuted on some phony emotional basis. They are 12% of the U.S. population and cause more crime, disorder, and trouble than the other 88% of us combined. Here's another one. As each day passes, I'm glad I moved out of the U.S. These silly people always look for easy fix by blaming the white people. Anyway, you know what occurred to me, Lorraine, after reading all that stuff?
What?
It occurred to me that, that in Florida they got the stand your ground, what's it called? Stand your
ground law.
The stand your ground law. And the person...
And I guess 30 other states have it too, 30 other states.
Yeah, but you know what I was thinking? I don't think anyone's thought of this. Is the guy who had the right to stand his ground was Trayvon Martin. Think about it. If I'm walking home somewhere and anyone comes up to me in the back behind me in Manhattan, I live in Harlem. If it's a white guy, a black guy, or any kind of guy, comes up behind me and starts asking me stuff, if I'm okay, I'm going to run really fast. But if I don't have a chance to, I turn and act crazy. I confront them immediately because I want them to go away. I don't want to deal with them. I think they're already, by approaching me in some sort of aggressive way, I'm going to try and scare them more than to interact with them, because that's the only way you can deal with it here. You don't stop and, let me be friends with you and figure out what you want. You have to aggress back in order to deflect these people. So the person who was really standing his ground was Trayvon Martin, because this other guy was coming up to him, and the only reason the trial didn't go that way because he was dead. But, if he had shot Mr. Zimmerman, he could have used the same defense, right? Lorraine?
Well, I have just a different view on it. I feel that to do with territoriality or whatever that word is, that you put two people in the same area who are hyped up, and then they want to fight because they don't like the other one in so close. It's kind of like putting too many fish in a fishbowl.
Yeah, but my point is the person who had the right to stand his ground was Trayvon Martin, because his ground was being invaded by this guy who was asking him questions and chasing him.
No, but he lived there too. Zimmerman lived in the same community.
But it doesn't matter. That's the equal thing for both of them. They both live there. So that's equaled out.
Well, I think they're both at fault. I really do, but I think it's just very sad.
Well, you know, we invited tonight Royce Russell, who is the attorney from of Ramarley Graham's mom, Constance Malcolm, who, you know, it was only, I think, 40 days before Trayvon Martin was shot that, you know, Lorraine, you and I did a show on Stop and Frisk and Ramarley Graham. He was the teenager. I think he was also 17. Or actually, he was...
Hi, Tony.
Hello?
Hi, Tony. I would like to make a comment.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, hi. I would like to say that it was nice. It would be nice to have a judge, or as his father, a retired judge, you know, as you know, a parent, because then, you know, he has, how you say, the inside track into knowing, you know, what he could or could not be able to do, and have someone to back him up.
I missed your point. So you wanted Trayvon Martin to have a relative who was a judge?
No, not Trayvon Martin. I'm saying it would be nice to have a father as a judge. Zimmerman's father is a retired judge.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. And I think a lot of people, well, that's what I you know, got information I read somewhere. And if that, you know, is said to be true, then, you know, I could see why he was able to get away with what he got away with.
Well, I mean, at the bottom of it, I think he got away with it because the law let him get away with it. But I think there was a lot of political pressure to slow this thing down, to make it very distant from when it really occurred, so that people all cooled off. But, you know, bringing it back to New York, you know, our situation with Ramarley Graham, do you remember Ramarley Graham, ma'am?
That's right.
I mean, Ramarley Graham was the teenager who the police, in fact, the officer Richard Haste thought he had a gun and chased, although Ramarley didn't run into his home. Ramarley entered his home calmly.
Right.
Mr. Haste walked, you know, broke down the door, ran up the steps, and chased him into the bathroom and shot him dead in front of his grandmother. Well, you know, 3 weeks ago, ABC reported the judge said an assistant district attorney made an accidental mistake when presenting the manslaughter charges against Officer Richard Haste to the grand jury in the death of 18-year-old Ramarley Graham. And so the Bronx judge tossed out the indictment of the NYPD cop. So that case is over.
Yeah, but it's nothing new. That always seems to be the case when it comes to the NYPD.
Yeah, it's you know, I guess the point there is that there's, you know, it's just like Mr. Snowden. It's like, you know, when the forces of politics and government get behind a certain outcome, it's almost inevitable that it happens that way. But
yeah.
You know, I come back to the point. What do you think about the theory of Trayvon Martin, that he had the right to stand his ground? You know, he was the one who was being pursued.
He did have the right to stand his ground. The only difference was that he didn't carry a gun.
Yeah, that's the only difference. If he'd carried a gun.
I wonder how the outcome would have been if he was the one that, or he did have a gun, and Zimmerman met his unfortunate demise.
Well, that's a good point, my friend. Listen, thank you so much for calling. We're going to let you go because we've got thousands of other callers waiting in line.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you too. Peace. Well, Lorraine,
Hello?
any other comments here?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Hi, my name is Dee Dee from Manhattan.
Hi, Dee Dee from Manhattan. Speak up. Yell into your phone. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm talking on the cell phone, but I just want to let you know that I agree with you 100%. when you said that Trayvon was the one who really needs to stand his ground, because no one is thinking about that. I could just imagine me walking down the street and somebody's following me, and me not try to protect myself against an assailant.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why people feel. I mean, first of all, the state of Florida, I'm not surprised about the verdict because of how Florida is in general. And if you look at the history of Florida, then it's a pretty prejudiced state. And I don't think much has changed, over the years. And so I'm not surprised about the verdict. But I am surprised that a Hispanic person would have such hatred for another person of color the way he does. And I saw an interview of his brother on some program the other night.
CNN, yeah.
When the verdict made or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, listening to the brother, I'm not going to say the whole family, but the two of them have a certain type of mindset where they're in a whole nother world the way they think. There's no reasoning with them, and they truly believe that what Zimmerman did, the brother, I keep forgetting his name, I don't know how I could, but the one who committed the crime was truly within his rights to do so. And the brother supported it, and he just felt like he just did the right thing. So he is getting a lot of support from his family, and I'm afraid that he will influence a lot of other people in Florida to continue this behavior and this mentality. So I think we have to be very careful and be very mindful that this is opening up maybe a very unfortunate can of worms. And I'm wishing for the best.
Well, thank you for your call, ma'am. I think according to the law, Mr. Zimmerman was able to do what he did, but to my point, I think according to the law and to the last caller, if Mr. Trayvon Martin had a gun, he could have done it too, because he was the one that was being assailed. I wish we had that law here in New York. I'd carry a gun, and if some of these people come up behind me when I'm walking home after this show, I would just shoot them.
Well, I feel that Zimmerman won because he has more money. I feel that Trayvon's family just did not have enough money to get really good lawyers to represent them.
Yeah.
And the person who has the most money and the best lawyers always wins, in my eyesight.
Some people could say that about O.J. Simpson as well,
Yes, but thank you for thinking the way you do. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, love, anytime. Thanks for calling. Thank you for calling, ma'am.
Okay, good night.
Yeah, good night. Peace. Well, what's up, Lorraine? What you laughing for?
I'm just letting off excess energy.
That's good. It's sometimes good to get it out that way. That's better than being violent and horrible and full of hate. Ladies and gentlemen, in this world, if you're racist, you're probably using it based on observation of a small percentage of people of a certain race. But, there's also every race has got a percentage of trashy people. This is where the term white trash came from.
Especially white people. They have the most for trashy people of any race.
Yeah, so you need to stop and think about that when there's so much hate in these comments that I read. A lot of these blogs, because I participate in a lot of these blogs often, it's easy to, quote unquote, pull the trigger, to use an American saying. We're so violent in this society.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening. You're on the air.
Yes, good evening. Hi, my name is Rob. I'm calling from Harlem, New York. I would suggest yourself and everyone go online and listen to the 911 tape from Mr. Zimmerman, where he refers to Mr. Martin as an effing coon. That's clearly heard on tape. So I don't know what the prosecution didn't bring it up. It just indicated that the case was doomed from the start. Clearly, this is a hate crime because anyone can go online here Mr. Zimmerman referred to Mr. Martin as effing coon, which is a racist.
Well, I've never heard that before.
Well, you need to go online, go to YouTube, type in effing coon, and that's why it was on the Nancy Grace show. Chris Matthews had one of his friends on, I think Jay Olivia. He was a black friend, and he was trying to say, oh, he actually said effing goon, G-O-O-N, as opposed to coon. And coon is a race-specific slander.
Coon is old-fashioned.
So the reason that the prosecutors never brought that up because the prosecutor was corrupt from the start. But everyone, including yourself, can go online, go to YouTube, and type in effing coon, and it has the original transcript of the tape, the audio tape, and Zimmerman clearly says these effing coons always get away with it. And right after the operator tells, "Are you following him?" He says, "Yes, I am." He said, "No, don't follow him. Don't follow him. Stay in your car." And Zimmerman just ignored that advice, got out of his car, cocked his gun, and went out.
So, sir, let me ask you something. Just, I get the point. You got 1 more minute.
But obviously, it's a hate crime. He was racially profiled, and it should be elevated to a hate crime. Everyone needs to go online and get that and listen to the actual audio of Zimmerman referring to him as coon.
We got it. Thank you so much. What's the answer in 15 seconds to all this racial hatred?
Just being honest about it, because it should be page 1 in the media. If I can get listen to the audio online, I'm sure the media can. The media is just covering it up. Just be honest, it's so institutionalized. The racism is so entrenched. But I said, everyone go online and listen to the actual 911 call where Zimmerman refers to Trayvon Martin as an effing coon.
I love you, mister. We got to go because we got to play the number 6 radio song in the USA, okay? I want you to listen to that. Thank you for your call. Peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to